Hey guys, David with TWYCE Diecast. Today's episode of Collections, we're going to sit down with Jason at Mustang Hunter Diecast. All right, so today we're going to start a new series. This is going to be called Collections. And my goal for this series was just for us to get to know others in the community. I'm just going to interview a lot of you guys that have awesome collections. We're going to take a look at it. And I hope you will share the cars that are most important to you, the reason for it, how you came about them, and why they're so special. Hope you enjoy this series. And if you'd like to be a part of it, please drop me a comment on the first episode. We're going to do Jason at Mustang Hunter Diecast. And I hope you enjoy it. And any feedback is welcome.
So Jace, what's up, man? How you doing?
Dude, busy, but
Yeah.
can't complain.
Okay.
Winter came last week, super cold, and then this week it's like in the 60s. So typical
Yeah.
South Dakota weather.
But South Dakota, I imagine it goes 0 to 100 pretty quick on winter then.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Trick or treating was like
Brutal.
19 degrees, and then the next day it was 62. So
That's crazy, man. Sorry for the little kids that their Snickers were frozen by the time they got home.
right.
Um, well, I'm glad to have you here, and I hope everybody likes this series because what I'd like to do is give people that maybe don't even make videos, don't even have a channel. Like I'd love to give people an opportunity to show their collection and show off what they like. I know today we might see one or two Mustangs. So I thought that'd be kind of cool to let people just kind of show what they like. So Jason,
Yeah.
I see we are in a pretty freaking awesome room.
Yeah.
Tell me about the room. Like how long has it been a work in progress? Like what's
Every day
going
is
on?
a work in progress. Every single time I come down here, I'm doing something.
Yeah.
But before we get to that, I just want to thank you for having this one. I mean, this series, or the evolution that's going to come, I know it's going to come,
Yeah.
is pretty amazing. So thank you again for having me on here.
Yeah. My
But to answer
pleasure.
your question, I mean, every day it's evolving. Right now I'm at about 98% Mustangs on display now. So I got rid of all the random cars that were,
Yeah.
hanging up on walls. And I've always battled that. I've always I've always been the Mustang hunter, right? Like that's the
Right.
start of everything. And we all lose track of that sometimes. We start going down rabbit holes, and you guys know how many rabbit holes I've fallen down. Um, and I think I just really needed to just dial it back and focus on my brand of being the Mustang hunter and my collection.
Yeah.
So everything that is pretty much in display is all Mustangs, with an exception with a few. There's a few of my pieces that are, you know, that mean a lot, or
Yeah.
they have a really cool collector background to it or something like that. So,
All right. So best guess, how many cars are visible right now in that room?
oh, I no lie counted them one day.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? Let me just count them. And just this wall, I was about 2,600 cars. And that's
Awesome.
not including what's behind the camera and this wall over here. So I don't know, maybe 3,000 or
That's
more.
that's a lot of Mustangs, man. I guess uh
Yeah.
if you hadn't thought about it before, you'd really be surprised that there are that many Mustangs. But I mean, is there a more iconic American car? I don't know. Like,
Yeah. I mean, aside from, the popular Corvette and Camaro, I mean, the
yeah.
Mustang is definitely one that even people overseas and
Yeah.
that they recognize it from any age.
Well, with that in mind, let's see some cars. I know people would love to sit and listen to us talk, but it's probably not why they checked in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I asked Jason, and I'm talking to the viewers now. I asked Jason to pick out some of his favorites from his collection. I don't know if it has anything to do with rarity. I don't know if it has sentimental value, but I'd like for you, Jace, just kind of walk us through some of the highlights of your collection from your perspective.
All right. So starting off, we have all of my 124, some 118 scales. And this one right here, this one was the first car that I got in collaboration with HMKT Diecast over in Indonesia. So this one does mean a lot because it was a really cool collaboration with another diecast company overseas.
Heck yeah.
But I mean, you can see I have some Lamborghinis because I'm a huge Lamborghini and exotics guy. Favorite American exotic is the Dodge Viper. It's one of my favorite supercars aside from the 4GT. I still think the Viper is much cooler in my opinion. Yeah. This wall is dedicated for custom. So when people send me customs, they go in this display. I got some from Honest Diecast. We have this one was from the customizer. I don't know if you guys remember that guy, but
Ron.
Yeah. Yep. So that one was the customizer. I still have one from Nas. Yeah. Over here in this orange. Alex Graff sent me a really cool it's like what's the Volkswagen Beetle? The Herbie?
Yeah, Herbie, yeah.
Yeah. So this was his take because he's a huge Volkswagen guy. So of course he took the spin of a 68 tuned and made it the Herbie. And I mean, we got King Nut's first ever custom 68 tuned.
That's wild.
Well, yeah. So whenever anyone sends me a custom of any type of Mustang, they go in this display. It's already full, so I got to expand it some more. And then we got some of this is like my little show and tell display, which no one even really comes down here except for like
right.
Except for family. But I mean, this collector case is full of cars. I don't even remember what's in there. We got the Sizzlers. This thing has never even been operated. And I think this was the coolest piece I got in a mail call. Because, I mean, even when you look at it, we'll go ahead and take it out. I mean, it still has the cars still wrapped in there.
Absolutely mint.
Yeah, I mean, whoever had it didn't even put any of the stickers on it. So yeah, this thing is super cool. And for me, it's kind of like a time capsule, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the only reason why I don't either put things together or try to restore them. Because to me, it has a lot of character. And then, of course, we got more Mustangs, of course. We have from M2s to Auto Worlds. I mean, Racing Champions. This one was my latest large collection that I got in a mail call. It's all the stock rods, but 64 and a half, 65 Mustangs from the Winn-Dixie, Mark Martin, my favorite race car driver. And then just various. You got Dick Trickle's number 90. That's a fastback Shelby. We got NWO. I don't know how many WWF before it was the WWE.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Kevin Nash, Sting, epic Sting right there. And then this is where all of my chases are. I got the Greenlight, Auto World, Johnny Lightning. I wanted a section designated for all of the chases that either I trade for or I find. And I'm finding more chases than supers, which I kind of wish it flipped sometimes. But at the same time, I've got a lot of really, really cool Mustang chases.
What is go back to that real quick. What do you think is like the most elusive one on that wall right there?
The most elusive?
Yeah, like
I mean, man.
Do you have any that jump out like crazy value?
You know, when it comes to that, I really don't pay attention to what value it brings. When I see a chase, when I see a chase and it's a Mustang, I look at it in two different ways. Which body style is it and which brand? Because Johnny Lightning is my favorite brand.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I can have like a 2020 GT500 and I would value that more than, let's say, this 78, even though I think the 78 is pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's how I rank it, is the body style, because I like certain body styles better than others. So when I find the chase in my favorite body style, it's just like, yeah, that thing is not going anywhere. Which I've rarely traded Mustangs out of my collection, but I've done it in the past, regretted it, and then ended up trading for that same casting back into the collection. So, I mean, it's kind of just one of those games that you play of, you know, should I trade it? Should I not? And sometimes you just have to if you want something more. Of course, we're still holding on to some NASCAR. These are all of my NASCAR, but Mustangs in specific, minus the Kyle Petty. I love the Kyle Petty only for the fact that it came on the old school carrier. If you guys remember these, the old 48 carrying case cars.
Look at that.
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah, so that's the only reason why I mean, this car was just iconic growing up because I always saw it on this case.
Yep. Yeah.
And, you know, and these also have cars that are, I don't know, maybe of value to other collectors. I mean, we got this really cool opening body drag bus in gold.
I've
Yeah,
never seen that, man. That's pretty wild.
yeah. I mean, even back when McDonald's had some really cool formula cars, back when they gave you some really cool toys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everybody loves a slammed Lincoln. Yeah.
Look at the flames on that Joker.
Yeah. So I usually keep these cases. All of my carrying cases that I have do have cars in it. None of them are ever empty. Sometimes I forget what I have. This is my favorite one out of all the cases, just because it's an engine, and it's the 25 year of Mattel, which you guys know we're at what 50, 55.
So that would have been like maybe 93. Does that sound right?
Yeah, sounds about right. I don't think it had a little. Yep, it says 92 casting license on there.
That's cool. That's vintage, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and I just had to trade for it. Got Ruby, of course, framed up there.
Tell everybody about Ruby real quick.
So Ruby is a 2005 Mustang GT. It is the premium package, so it's got the aluminum trim and extra subwoofer, if that even matters these days. But yeah, it's been through 2 iterations of the Hot Wheels race livery, which is based off of Joey Logano's Target Red Edition, which we have hanging up over here. Let's go ahead and take this bad boy off. So this is the car that I wanted to make Ruby after. It's the same exact red, except Ruby's color is red fire pearl metallic. And one day I was like, you know what? I want to make my car into a Hot Wheel. Like, I think it would be the coolest thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what sparked it. Maybe it was the Joey Logano video of him completing the longest. It was the longest Hot Wheels track, and the car landed in his actual Hot Wheels Mustang that was blue, which was this release right up here, because Joey Logano actually drove the blue one. And so I told my wife, like, hey, I want to make my car into a Hot Wheel, and she was very skeptical on it. And she's like, well, I don't know, how's it going to look? And so me and my buddy bought all the material. He helped me do it. And then I had to do it again because it got messed up. And I finished it about 3 weeks ago. Took me 9 hours to do it all by myself, which was horrible. And yeah.
So did I see in the past, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you got a shout out from Joey on the car, right?
Yeah. So it was on Twitter before it went to X. Right. I always tag him in it because I'm like, hey, maybe he'll be like, oh man, cool Mustang, and then share it. Yeah. So I tagged him in it with his car and my car in it, and my man shared it and thought it was just super cool. And I was like, man, that right there is what, like, aside from Hot Wheels recognizing the car, I wish Hot Wheels would be like, dude, sweet, let me just post it on our Facebook. I think that was just the coolest.
You know, the kids have to love it, man. I saw a pic where you did your Diecast Day of Giving donations, and man, it seemed like the kids were all over it when you had it parked out there. Oh my gosh, yes. This year was probably the best year to do it. I'm trying to figure out how to turn this camera backwards. Hold on. I'm a little old school, guys. All right, I figured it out. Got it. And he's back.
Yeah. We'll do a little tour in a second. I just got to put this here. But yeah, this year was much better than last. because I got to go up to the rooms and actually deliver Hot Wheels to a few sick kids. One was leaving the day, so it was a great day for him. He was actually getting out of the hospital. He had like a broken arm, broken leg. Guess it was like an accident of some sort. I didn't ask any details, but the smiles on their faces was just priceless, man. Like very, very. It was it takes you out of what we do for the hobby and brings you down to the world of these are toys and kids play with them, and we forget that we fight about them. We post about all these cars being taken, and then we lose sight of the ones that are stuck in hospitals, not being able to go out and find their favorite cars, and we're out there just taking advantage of that. And so it was really good to just have the kids come down with their families, the nurses, the staff, everyone came down. And they said they talked up the kids all week because they knew it was going to happen. And it was just, it was really, really good.
Yeah, that's amazing, man. And you're right, man. Sometimes we've just got to be punched in the nose, just like by reality. Like, dude, this is a hobby. Like this is so far down the line of what's really important. You got kids fighting for their life over there. Yeah, I'm with you, man. 100%. So thank you again. Just like Mark says, one car equals one smile. And for those people that see it firsthand, like you, I'm sure you'll never doubt the effect that a little bit of generosity can go. How far it can go. So props to you, man, for doing that in person. That's really cool.
Yeah, no, it was. So before I want to get to the cars that I wanted to highlight, if you're good with that.
I'm good, man. Let's do it.
All right. So this car would probably surprise you on being, it's more of a sentimental piece in a weird way. So when I hit my 100 subscribers on the channel, 100, I was like, what can I do to make 100 subscribers special? And that was the time I opened up my very first Hot Wheel. You know me, I'm a carded collector.
Heck yeah. Cracked it.
Nowadays, everything outside of Mustangs I opened. I took the attachment and the valuable part of it out of that equation, because at the end of the day, the Mustang collection is what's valuable to me. All the other ones, they shouldn't hold that much value because they're just other cars I like.
Yeah.
So this one right here, the white Centenario. This was the very first Hot Wheels I opened up on the channel as a 100 subscriber milestone. I was like, you know what? I'm going to start doing free at Friday. So this was the very first car I opened. And it's stuck with me. Like, it's just one of those things. Like, that was the very first car, and it was a Lamborghini. It wasn't even a Mustang.
All right, let me talk to the viewers real quick. Raise your hand if you thought the first car you were going to see on this interview was a Lamborghini.
Right.
All right. That's awesome, man. 100 subscribers. You know what? It's a big deal when you're at that level. That is so affirming and so cool. I love every milestone, and shout out to all the people watching our videos.
Yeah.
Really, really appreciate it.
Yep. And a lot of people think that there's a lot of other large channels out there, and I comment a lot on those large channels, and we never get any replies back. We never get any likes or thumbs up or anything like that. And the one thing I always said with the channel was that I would reply to every single comment. I don't care how long it takes. I go through my notifications every single day. And then there's times where some of those notifications go into like a weird unread or folder, and I won't see them until months later, but I'll make sure to reply, because I don't want people that are starting their channel to think, oh, we're just small channels and we don't matter. I mean, we all got there somewhere, and I got there with a 100 subscriber Lamborghini,
Yeah.
I'm glad the channel's growing and on a consistent basis. I'm very thankful for that. And it's hard to really keep up with content when my area is so small, but it's just saturated with collectors.
Yeah.
And I think that's another reason why I went down the vintage road of hunting down vintage cars, because new collectors, I feel, are more of the collectors that are just doing it because everyone else is doing it. So there might not be that many more collectors, but there's more people getting the stuff we want.
Yeah.
And there's just a weird line between that.
Yeah. No doubt about it. All right. What's next?
Next car. You guys want to guess my first ever Super? It was not a Mustang either. It was this Tesla Model S.
I remember
This
that
was
one.
this was my very first one, and I found it at Fry's in a huge bin. I was standing there for like an hour going through it.
Yeah.
I left, I came back, and I was like, something told me to just keep digging. And we do that sometimes on the peg. Like we walk away, then we come back like as if a Super or something's going to just manifest itself there. Even though we've looked at every single car, we're like, let's just look one more time. And that one I found at the very, very bottom of the cage, and it was my first Super. And yeah, that one is never being traded away. It's never that one. When someone is new to the collecting world and they ask, "Hey, my first treasure hunt, should I open it?" I always say, "Don't open your first one."
No, you can't. You're right.
No. Save it for the next one. Open your next one, but your first one, that's a huge thing, you know? I've met people that haven't found a Super in like 5 years, 20 years. I'm like, man, that is rough.
Yeah.
You know, and we have, the whisperer out there, Derek, who finds Supers like left and right.
That's right. He does.
Yeah.
Well, that's super, super cool, man.
Yeah.
And what a good lesson. You gotta go through the bottom of the dump bin sometimes.
Yeah. It's usually like that. It's usually in the most unexpected place.
Yeah.
But now this next car, this one has a lot of meaning to it. This was actually from my wife back in 2012. And I've never even talked about this car before, but it's a 1969 Boss 429. It's a 124 scale, and it is a Welly casting.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. We love Welly.
Yeah. But I mean, this thing has really good detail. I mean, it's got the opening hood, all the features on it. But being in the military, I've been in 12 years now. When I made my first rank promotion, I came home and there was this awesome looking cake just sitting there. And my wife had this car, and it's a 69 Camaro, which I have somewhere around here. 69 Camaro, but she had the Mustang pulling the Camaro across the finish line, and it said, "Congrats on your promotion," little flag coming out the window. And
that's awesome.
She said she spent like 2 hours going to each store trying to find a Mustang. She found the Camaro, but she's like, I could not find a Mustang.
Right.
So it's to tell you guys how popular the Mustangs really are. But it was her creation of the Mustang pulling a Camaro over the finish line. And this car represented the first time me ranking up for promotion in the military. So this car has a lot of value.
Yeah.
Definitely. A lot of value.
That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never talked about that car or the Camaro before in the collection, but it's a beautiful blue. I wish I had it here to show, which I usually do. And then, of course, everyone knows, or if you don't know, my favorite Hot Wheels Mustang is the 65 2+2. And I know the question's going to be asked of, yeah, but which one is your favorite? Out of all of those, which one's your favorite 65 2+2? And I got to be honest, it's very hard to just look at a specific casting that you love and then pick the one you just absolutely just, nope, that is the winner right there. It is very hard to do.
Yeah, they're all your kids.
Yeah, but this is one that ever since I got it, I already knew, like, that's my favorite one. and it's this one.
I love it.
Yeah. It is like the epitome of a road course car.
Yep.
You know, you got the white meatball with the 11, the white stripes, just a beautiful setup.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful setup. Favorite color's red, so that's already a huge plus. But I mean, this was just done right. For a mainline, this was done right. And this one is my favorite 65 2+2 in my whole 65 collection.
You know, isn't it amazing? Like, first off, it's amazing what Mattel can still give you for like $1.20. Like
Yeah.
the details in that. And then it's also amazing how that $1.20 can, man, there can be such an attachment for all kinds of reasons.
Yeah.
That's so cool, man. Like, yeah, I'm glad you showed that one.
Yeah. All right. Next one, obviously, it is a Mustang. This one was actually one of the first few trades that I ever did. I was always skeptical on giving out my address and doing all that, with family. I'm like, I don't know if I want to, do the trade and give out my address, but something told me this guy was just a genuinely nice guy. And it's Adrian over at Big A's Diecast.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So he had actually sent me a couple variations, but this one has always been my number one. And it's another 65 coupe in red out of the Ultra Hots. And
white walls?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know. Something about the wheels, the white walls, and the red just.
No, it's
that
classic,
is just,
man.
Yeah, when I think of Mustang, I always think of a red coupe or a red fastback or something. But yeah, so very first person I ever traded with was Big A.
This is where, what better place to start than one of the best dudes in the community?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And then, of course, that just blew up.
You know what I wonder about that Mustang? Like, you know what the most popular and my favorite Mustang from like forever ago was that 65 convertible, and it was red. It had a little bit of gold on the rocker with the Mustang with the pony, and it had the white walls. Do you remember that? It had like an opening hood.
Do I have that? Hold on, let me see. Let's go do a little tour again.
Yeah, because that's what when you showed me that Ultra Hot, that's exactly where my mind went, because that was like the Mustang that I knew as a kid growing up.
Yeah,
not that I'm that old, but that was a real popular Hot Wheels.
Yeah, hold on. This thing, man, I'm just trying. Oh, there we go. I feel like an old dude. Like, how do I take a?
Yeah, you're playing the role of boomer today.
Yeah, no kidding. Let's see. He said it was a 65 convertible.
Is that? Yeah. See that? What are those two aqua ones right there? That's the car. Is that a 65?
Yeah, these are all 65s.
Okay, so there was that in red, and it had white walls, and it had the tan interior. I mean, it's basically, it's right above it. Yeah, right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one I actually restored because this one didn't have a windshield. So I actually drilled it and put a windshield back on it.
Well done. You nailed that.
Yeah, because I was like, oh man, like it's such a beautiful casting, and it was just missing the windshield. And of course, I have this white wall without the running pony. And then we had this one, the black wall, or the basic 5 spokes. But I did not have the white wall one. We have the 7 spoke here. So I just had to restore that one.
Well, now you got it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is all the supers. I think I have 43 supers.
Oof,
something like that.
I hear you.
Yep. And then life lesson. This one right here, the 45th anniversary 5-pack. Probably 2011. I found that in the store, and I was like, you know what? We're spending a lot today. I'll just put it back. I'll come back for it. And I went back like 2 days later, and it was gone. And I went back over and over and over and never found it. And my wife actually got me that 3 years ago. She finally found me one.
9 years
And
later.
9 years later. So now my wife's like, if you see something, just buy it.
Yeah.
Just buy it. Because that was the largest regret was, dang, why did I pass up on the 45th anniversary? You know, and then like these Shelbys, she found these at Menards, which I think now you can only get them from the Shelby Museum. I came home from lunch and she had those kind of laid out, and I was like, where did you find those? She's like, oh, I went to Menards and I saw a bunch of Shelby, so I just bought them. So,
Wow.
you know, my wife has found a lot of really cool stuff for me. And yeah, you can't replace stuff like that because she took the time to actually go out and she knew that I would take them, you know?
Yeah.
This section is really designated for my multi-packs. I got Legends Tour. You got the FAO Schwartz. That one I really wanted for some reason because I love castings in gold. So when it comes to like a super, if it's in gold, I want it. I don't care what casting it is. But I just think it's just a beautiful set.
Yeah, it is. No, it is. No doubt about it.
You know, and my wife, again, she was like, hey, I went on the Target app and there's one left. So she bought it on the app and I walked inside and the employee already had it for me. So I got lucky on that one.
Yeah.
We got old 10 packs. I know a lot of people are into multi packs, and this was one that I got from the cubby hole.
Oh yeah.
And this one has some really iconic cars. You got Ferraris. Yeah, really cool stuff. This one's a Kmart exclusive right there on the top. And this one right here is probably one of my favorite multi-packs. It's a Target exclusive. This was the black set. Everything really came out. Everything came in black. And you got the Shelby, the Viper, 65 Mustang, you got the Camaro. We got a little got the Miata, got a Mercedes SL, and then the Corvette, and then the Roll Patrol. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
solid
so
this was another trade I did with AFOL Man when I first got to Arizona. So yeah, I was like, oh man, I really want that one. So this is usually where I keep all of the either multi-packs or box sets that I don't want to open, like that little mini mart.
Yep.
Never been opened. Got my little Hot Wheels floppy disk. Got VHS. Yeah, just stuff I thought was just unique pieces that you won't see in another collection. Of course, who else bought the cereal? There's like 4 different boxes of cereal.
Well, it was so good talking with Jason that we ran out of time, didn't even catch it. So I've got basically another installment about this link for part 2. Stick around for that. As soon as I can get it edited, we will get it to you guys. Take care.